So welcome to the eighth and final model of this program. In this eighth model, we are looking at the investment terms and the bank account for which you'll be raising the capital, you'll be saving your funds. First of all, in investment terms, there are four key things you want to tell us. The minimum and the maximum amount that can be raised, and the minimum and maximum returns that any investor can have. Remember, the regulations divide investors into two types. Regular retail investors who cannot invest more than 10% of their annual income, and experienced certified investors who can invest as much as they can. So if you have a campaign where you're raising capital, say for example 5 million CDs, and you have an institutional investor who is coming in with 1 million CDs, he or she is not limited to do 10% of their annual income. However, a regular Joe would be required not to invest more than 10% of their annual income. And the reason is simple. The regulations anticipate that some companies may fail while others must succeed. Hence, investors should invest only what they can afford to lose. So it's important that in designing the minimum amount anyone can invest, it's just enough for anyone to participate. Now, concerning the minimum returns and the maximum potential returns, it's important that you always quote your returns in ranges, because MSMEs do not have full control of the entire, business cycles. There are a lot of variables that can change these numbers. So by giving investors a potential return range, it makes it easy for them to understand your business and what can possibly come to them. Once you provided the minimum and maximum returns ranges, you would now want to make sure you provide the bank account for which settlement to be made to you. It's always important to have a single bank account where you can receive all funds. Why? It becomes easy to audit this account after or during the execution of the project. Remember, 90 days after raising the capital and receiving the funds in your account, the intermediary would visit the project site and ensure the capital is being used for exactly what it was meant for, and prepare a report for the regulator. So it's important you have a dedicated bank account from which you spend this capital. Now, after you've successfully executed a project and you've made a successful return, the funds will now be sent back to the intermediary's account, and then from there, the platform will disburse the funds to the investors pro rata, meaning every investor will get their principal and a share of the profit according to the proportion that they invested. This is all handled by the platform, so you do not have to worry about that. The most important thing you need to worry about are two things: execution and profitably or successfully executing the project. With that, this brings us to the end of our 8-pack program and training model on investment crowdfunding, and I simply can't wait to see you put in your application and raise your first capital on MTN Mobile Money or on the GoFundMe website or any other investment crowdfunding platform in Ghana. Thank you for being part of this program, and remember, the checklist is available for you to provide all the information, so that once you're ready to apply, you have all the information needed to submit and have a smooth and successful investment crowdfunding process. Thank you. It was a pleasure spending time with you, and I look forward to meeting you in the third lesson on equities.